G'day mates, welcome to this video, and today we're going to be starting off a very new series here on the channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do, and let's get right into it. So as many of you know, Millionaire Mastery, I talked about this last week. Millionaire Mastery is designed to help you master and develop characteristics, traits, and other different habits of successful millionaires to help you reach your ambitious goals and aspirations. This new series is going to be called Traits of a Millionaire, where we're going to take a deeper and closer look at some of these traits that millionaires develop over the course of their journey to help give you some insight into what you can do and help you understand all of these different traits. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So today, what we're going to be looking at, if you haven't already realized by the title, we're going to be diving into the trait of passion. Now, if you're just listening in for the first time or you're listening in because you've been a subscriber for a while, please know that I promise that there'll be something in this video today that you will learn something new or that will help you learn something more about yourself or your journey or your goals. So please listen in and take notes if you need to. So because my channel is primarily focused on entrepreneurial and business and online business and social media marketing, we're going to be focusing this trait of passion towards more of like an entrepreneurial passion and kind of trying to define that and then also dissect it and give you some more insight into what that really means for you. So I just did a really simple search and went ahead and had a look at what the definition of passion means. Now, the normal definition of passion is a strong and barely controllable emotion. Now, that gives us a little bit of information on what passion is. Obviously, passion, we always refer to it as, we want to do something that we're passionate about, that we enjoy, that we love. We want to have passion in everything that we do in life because it makes it, more enjoyable and those sorts of things. But I did find an interesting definition that was related to entrepreneurial passion. So let me just read something to you here. It is a motivational construct categorized by positive emotional arousal, internal drive, and engagement with personally meaningful work that is salient to the self-identity of an entrepreneur. So it's quite a mouthful, but let's just break it down here. So the first thing that I mentioned, I just want to highlight some points. They highlight positive emotion, internal drive, and engagement with personally meaningful work. What does that mean, right? I want to talk about this a little bit. So right off the bat, it tells me that behind passion, there's something more than just a fire that's lit inside of us that's helping us move forward. There's something like goals and a vision that we're actually working towards to achieve our personal goals. In this case, we're not really necessarily talking about finding your passion that most of us seek after and a lot of people talk about, but rather we're talking about having passion. Having passion no matter what goes on, no matter what we're doing, whether it's something we like or we don't like, just having passion for life and what we're doing. This is a lot more powerful than finding your passion, because oftentimes, even though some may find their passion in what they're doing, that's great, but there's another element that those people need to have. For example, if there are people like myself, I'm an entrepreneur, I like business, I understand it. There's people out there who, stream on Twitch, for example. They're obviously passionate about what they stream. Now, those people are passionate, but there's another element that needs to be there in order for them to continue. And I know I just mentioned earlier about having a vision and goals, but that's really something that's important. The other element that's really important is having a purpose behind what you're doing. If you don't have a purpose, if you're not trying to better the world, if you're not wanting to help more people, and you're solely focused on, in this sense, making money online, then you're going to find yourself struggling really hard to find passion and have a drive for what you're doing. So just a quick recap, the main point I want to make here is that a lot of people get confused with having to find their passion, when in reality the better option is that you want to have passion in all that you do. because there's going to be things that you don't want to do even if you're following your passion. There's going to be days where you don't want to do things, and you just have to be able to move past that and have passion in what you do and have that show through to your viewers, through your brand, through your videos, whatever that may be. So I just wanted to really highlight that point because this is something that I really learned as I was researching and thinking about passion in general. So before we move on to the next point, I just wanted to think about this for just a second. If we think about the man Alex Becker, he makes tons of ads. We see him all the time on YouTube, and they look something like this.
If you give me 45 seconds, I'm going to show you how my buddy Justin generates nearly $500,000 per month selling weird stuff like cat socks, fishing t-shirts, and of course, the legendary wolf mug of truth and justice.
Have we not all seen that ad like 50 times? Well, I have. And it gets annoying. But as we can see from this ad, it's obvious that Alex Becker isn't necessarily passionate about wolf mugs or some of his other ads about sewing machines. I don't think he spends his time doing sewing or knitting or anything like that. But it establishes the point that you just have to be passionate about the things that you're doing, not necessarily the actual task at hand. You know, if you want to go and make a drop shipping store that sells sewing machines, then great, so be it. If that's what you're passionate about and you have passion doing it, then great. That's just a perfect combination. So let's jump into the second point, all right? So the next point I wanted to talk about some of the things about passion, kind of elaborate a little more on what we've been talking about. But passion's also a really strong indicator of our degree of motivation, our level of commitment, and our confidence in our vision. So it's directly reflected through our goals, our vision, what we want to achieve in life, the amount of motivation that we have, which can be a really a difficult thing if we don't have motivation to do things, right? It can get very hard for us to take action. So being able to have that passion on a daily basis is really important, and that's why I really try. I'm not perfect, but I have all of my goals and my vision written up on my wall that I try to look at regularly to help remind me of what I'm working towards and what I want to achieve and the people I want to help and what I want to do to give back and to make the world a better place. So those things are really important when it comes to even just having motivation and having commitment, right? So the next thing that I wanted to talk about here is another element of passion that I think doesn't really get talked about very much, but passion is almost like having a bit of faith. And what I mean by that is that when you have a vision or a goal and you're working towards achieving that, you have a faith or a sense of belief that you'll be able to achieve that goal. So in essence, passion is a way for us, it's kind of like a working definition, or faith is a working definition for passion, right? We're having a belief that we're going to be able to work towards and achieve something greater than what we have now or what we are now, right? So that's a really important thing to understand. Okay, so the next clip we're going to jump into is one of the most passionate people on this planet, and that is the wonderful man, Steve Jobs. We're going to listen to a short clip of him here and get a little bit of his insight into what he thinks about passion.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
All right, guys. So out of the words of Steve Jobs, out of the mouth of Steve Jobs, he made some really good points about passion, something that we've already been talking about. But the main reason I want to show you that is because obviously, as we know, Steve Jobs, he created the company Apple. He's been very, very, very successful. Unfortunately, he did pass away. But his points on passion here are really important for us to understand. Now, if we don't have passion for something, we're more likely to fail or give up along the way. But if we do have some sense of passion throughout what we do, and also, I guess, have developed this sense of passion through having a goal and a vision for our life and what we want and how we're going to help people, how we're going to solve a problem, then that will help us push through those difficult times. So what I'm going to do for you here today is, I know a lot of you do struggle still with having the motivation or having that passion, because, you know, it's not on an everyday basis that I even have the passion that I want. I want to have more passion in my life, and I'm working towards that. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the knowledge corner, and we're going to go over 3 things that will help you develop passion or reignite that passion that you've always wanted to have, and to give you some pointers on those things. So let's jump right over there. Alrighty mates, so we're over here right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over and highlight some of the things that we can do to develop more passion in our lives, and the ways that we can maintain that and have passion through whatever we do. So the first thing that I wanted to give you guys is we want to focus on the outcome. All right? So that's our first point there. We want to focus on the outcome. Now, we talked in the beginning about having or having passion rather than trying to find your passion. If we can focus on the outcome of what we want to achieve in life, the goals, the vision for ourselves, or if we can define those really, really simply, really, really detailed, and we could create a sense of imagination, and we can think about those things that we want most in our lives, it's going to give us passion. The reason it's going to give us passion is because we are striving and working towards something that we want in our lives, something that we really desire, and that alone is going to give us motivation and passion in our lives. So focusing on the outcome and trying to make sure that you do everything you can to focus on that as much as you can every day. Now there's going to be days where you may miss, you may not think about it. I usually try and think about things before I go to sleep, and then when I wake up I try to get something in my mind of, you know, either reading my vision over here or looking at some of my goals or watching motivational videos to get me in that mindset that I need in order to really have passion throughout the day. So that's kind of the first tip that I'm going to give you for developing passion. So if you haven't already, make sure that you develop a vision, have your goals, write them down somewhere you can see them and put them up on a wall or something like that, okay? The second tip I'm going to give you for today in helping you develop passion in your life is focusing on bettering the world and helping other people. When we do this, it helps us focus less on ourselves and more about the bigger picture. So if we have a purpose for what we're doing, then it's going to help drive us and push us further than it would if we were to focus on things like ourselves, money, other things that may distract us from what's really, really important in life. No successful business person or entrepreneur was ever focused on themselves and really made an impact on the world and really made a lot of money. Just remember that. Obviously, there's scammers out there and there's people that will lie to you and deceive you, but in a general sense, those who give back and those who solve problems and those who help people are the ones that make an impact on the world and end up more financially free than anyone else, sustainably. So the second thing is focus on others and bettering the world. we all want the world to be a better place. And you can be one of those influencers, one of those people that can really have an impact on people's lives, okay? Even if you're not building a personal brand, if you're just building a brand in general, a business, your brand can have a positive effect on others, okay? So that's kind of the second thing, and I want you guys to think about that for a second, and what your desires are and what your hopes are for your future, and whether that aligns with this second point here, because a lot of us get distracted. I get distracted too, but really what's most important to me is focusing on other people and bettering the world. That's really what I want to do, and that's why I make these videos. So let's jump into the third point, which is the most simple point that will be up here on the list, and something that you probably hear all the time, but it's so true, and I have to put it up, okay? The third thing is, in the wonderful words of Grant Cardone, take massive action. I'm really excited to go see him actually this February at the 10X Growth Con, but that's for another video. Take massive action, 10X, as he always says. Now, I say this all the time, you probably hear it all the time, but taking action is one of the best ways that you can develop passion. Let me tell you why. The reason why is because there's something that happens when we do something after we've either procrastinated or prolonged it for a period of time. And if we just suck it up and do it sometimes, maybe we've had passion, maybe we've been passionate from the beginning, or maybe we've had, we've been doing really, really well, and then one day you wake up, one week you just don't feel right, you just kind of feel off, you want to, sit down and watch TV all day. You want to, do whatever, just not be as productive. We're all going to have days like that, but I'm just trying to help, instill and keep this passion on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not perfect in any way. I'm working on these things too. But taking action can help you see or help you develop some of that passion again and ignite it, because once you accomplish something or complete a certain task or objective, you feel good about what you've done. And it helps your mind to then realign with some of those goals and vision that you have for yourself, and knowing that you just made a step in the right direction even though it was hard, that can sometimes really help you to just kind of ignite that fire again and get you going. This may take, one day, it may take a few days, but this will really help you sometimes in these situations to just get another kickstart. So I hope that these tips were helpful for you, and I hope this discussion today about passion and about understanding that it's more about having passion rather than finding your passion. If you can have both, great, but there are two elements to being successful and really working towards the goals and ambitions that you have. So if you have enjoyed this video, if it has been valuable for you, please leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to this channel. There's going to be lots more coming in the future. I'm going to plan on doing one of these a week going forward. So we're going to dive into some more different habits or traits of successful millionaires. And if you have any suggestions on what you want me to talk about next in the next episode of this series, then please leave a comment down below. And if you have any other additional thoughts about what was shared today, I'd love to learn from you guys. Share some things about passion, maybe some struggles that you've had or some successes that you've had with having passion in your life, and any other additional thoughts that you may have. But thanks again, guys. We'll see you in the next video, but have an awesome day, stay motivated, and get stuff done.